Looking for a hair care line that actually delivers? Try the new TNT Self-Care Kids Collection by Jams Hair Care. It is a must-have. Head over to jamshaircare.com and use code Capri10 for your discount. Welcome to another episode of the Mompreneur Huddle podcast, where motherhood meets entrepreneurship and we talk about everything in between. Kids are looking up to me.
It is.
What we do.
Girl, you's a boss mom.
Yeah, I like that right there. I am your host, your girl, the Mompreneur mentor, Tammy Capri, and today I have a very special guest in the huddle with me today, Mrs. Terrica Rumph.
Hi.
Joining me in the huddle. How are you, sis?
I'm good.
What's going on with you?
Good. It's so good to be here.
It's so good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I enjoy that I got another brown sister. I love all my sisters, but it's something about that brown melanin.
The melanin is popping.
Listen, it's popping.
Every
How
time.
are you? How are you?
Good. I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, let's get right into it. First and foremost, tell our audience just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. So I am a doctorate prepared nurse practitioner specializing in pulmonary medicine. And I also am a content creator as well, which I've been now for the last 2 to 3 years or so.
Okay, nice.
Yes. And so
Nice.
I've been married for 6 years to my college sweetheart. And we have a 3-year-old son who is so amazing and just full of energy
Amazing.
all over
I
the
love
place.
it.
You know,
I love it. You know, I'm starting to see that a lot more. People with the clinical backgrounds and medical fields becoming content creators.
Yeah.
Do y'all have like a secret email that went out like, hey, try this, or like, what's going on with that? Because y'all all stepping into the content scene. It's different. Like, tell me about
It
that.
is.
What made you want to jump into content creation?
So I honestly wanted to jump into content creation when I first had my son.
Okay.
And so I worked, and at the time, you know, I saw other friends who were getting into the content creation space, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want my own community. I'm a new mom. I want some people who can know and understand what it is that I'm going through or I'm going to be going through.
Right.
You know, I love all of my friends, but my friends who don't have kids right now, I feel like they don't understand.
They don't.
You know, until you have a child of your own.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just want my own community. I just want other people to, you know, be out there and see me and say, hey, I can relate to this person. I want to, you know, see what she's all about.
So you weren't shy with putting, because essentially with content creation, transparency is a big requirement.
Yeah.
So you weren't like shy, or how did your husband even feel when you say, hey, babe, we going to be YouTube stars or TikTok stars? Like, how does that, like, because when you think of doctors, and not to jump off a topic, but there's this one doctor who always advocates non-smoking. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I don't know.
I'm gonna send you his page.
Okay.
But he's always the advocate for people to stop smoking. And he be on there just the dancing, and I'm like, how did he get into this? Like, what does his client say?
Yeah. So what's funny is initially when I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to do content creation, my husband wasn't 100% on board at all. He was just, you know, he always supports me, but it wasn't like, all right, babe, we going to get this equipment. I'm going to film you. I'm going to get this. Like, you know, I really kind of had to navigate that particular portion. It wasn't until I actually got paid on a brand. Then he was like,
this is a real job.
Yeah, like, oh, you can make money from this.
Yeah.
Okay. So then he became on board, and, you know, he loves it now. And it's so funny because now he's on his own content creation journey.
You put him down, see?
Yeah.
See,
so,
this is why y'all need us. This is exactly why y'all need us. See?
Yeah. So that's really how, you know, it kind of started for us.
So, but it is definitely hard trying to get, not just with content creation, but just because that's a business. So let's get that straight.
Right.
It's not just...
It's a full-time job.
Exactly. It ain't just buying a camera.
Yeah.
It's not just making pretty videos or interesting videos. It's an actual strategy behind creating content, and it's intentional for a specific purpose. And it's hard to get, let alone entrepreneurship overall, but specifically creating content, it's hard to get a spouse or family on board with that notion in the beginning.
It is.
So I can imagine the conversation or the hesitation, but what I love about your situation is that he was rocking with it.
Yeah.
He was rocking with it. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And it's new, you know? So anytime anybody is starting something new, there's always a little bit of hesitancy,
Yeah.
you know, because you just don't know where this is going to lead. And it honestly, like I mentioned, it's a full-time job. So it was taking a lot of my time away from him, away from my family. So that is something that I feel like your family has to be on board with,
Absolutely.
you know, when it comes to content creation.
How old was your son when you got into content creation?
When I got into it, he was probably 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
He was really young.
Okay.
Really young.
Okay.
He was actually still being breastfed.
Okay.
And my very first partnership was with a bottle warming company. And so
nice.
so he was very young when I started all of this.
So but how has motherhood shifted like your approach to jumping into a new lane? Like sharing him with the world or just being open and vulnerable with your emotions. Not even knowing I don't even know if you've experienced anything on your postpartum, but just that whole aspect, like how did it help you approach it? Like you as a mother on the mother aspect.
In terms of feelings
in terms of just anything. Like
So I feel like me approaching this content creation journey as a mom, it really just allowed me a different outlet. So I did not have the easiest. So I had an easy pregnancy up until the very end.
Okay.
So around 31, 32 weeks, I developed preeclampsia. And I had a couple of hospital visits. With the second hospital visit, I had to stay until I delivered him. And so that was just a lot in itself. My son stayed in NICU for a month.
Oh my God.
You know?
That feeling right there alone.
Yes. It was a lot. And I spent many days crying, upset, because I didn't understand. You're dealing with so many different emotions when you deliver and have a baby.
Absolutely.
And not only are you, you're going through a change within yourself, but with your spouse as well, because you're trying to navigate something completely new together. On little to no sleep, you know? And so it was just a lot. And content creation was honestly my outlet. It was something that...
therapy.
It was therapy. It was something for me that I'm like, okay, you know what? I enjoy doing this. I can have other people that I can relate to. And that is genuinely what made me happy during that time.
So were you I guess, transparent about that pain point in your breakthrough? Like, is that all documented through your content? Like, does your audience know, or do you share that part of it? Like that whole before, middle, and after?
I shared a little bit of it. I didn't share a whole lot. So my audience is aware, that I've had preeclampsia. My audience is aware of NICU, the NICU stay. I don't know that I share, or I don't remember if I shared or not, that the strain that you can have in a marriage when you do have a child. And I do think that it's something that should be talked about, because what you do see is, you see a happy couple, a happy Black couple that love each other, but you don't see what it took to get there. You know what I mean?
Part, yes.
And I do feel like other people could relate to that and to hearing that story.
Yeah.
I just have not sat down to really figure out like how to incorporate all of that.
So you don't mind incorporating that?
I don't mind. No, I don't mind, because that can help somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it brings me to my next question. Is like, how do you deal with the pressure of having to feel like you have it all together, or you know what I mean? Because when it comes to content creation, and even for me, and I'm not that influencer, or well, I'm an influencer, but not I don't do it to get brand deals or to work with different companies. I do it for my personal brand, but there is still a part of me where you second guess, should I expose this or should I not? Should I talk about this or should I not?
Yeah.
And then you find yourself, I don't know if you've experienced this, you find yourself wanting to feel like you have it all together or be aesthetic. But it's okay to show the real, raw, and uncut you. So how do you deal with those pressures, and how do you stay so true to your journey and your mission? Because you have a mission to help somebody out there through what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like first of all, you're leaving the hospital world that you were already helping people to go help somebody that you don't even know yet.
Yeah.
But how do you stay focused on that? Like, how do you deal with those pressures?
So, well, first, I'm always authentic. And so
Okay.
a lot of the times, even though I don't necessarily post it on my feed,
Mhm.
I share a lot in my stories as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or if people, I'm really an open book. So if people come to me, you know, I had a friend who just visited me and she was like, you know, what are the top 3 things that you would say we need, because she's in a relationship, what
Mhm.
we need as a couple? And my number one thing, I listed those things out and explained some of the issues that my husband and I had. I think one of the reasons that I did not share initially is because your partner, again, has to be on board with that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So
Absolutely.
initially he wasn't. So that was something that I just reserved for myself.
Mhm.
And now he's okay. Like, you know, you have to see what it takes or what it took to get to this other side. And
Right.
so
Right.
I think just being open and honest in my stories, or people ask me particular questions, like being able to share that with them. You know.
So where does that leave you with your career, right? Are you trying to make a full-time switch, or like is this because obviously you're at a point where you feel like that there's more.
Yeah.
You feel like that there's more. Literally, you have a greater purpose.
Mhm.
You went to school, paid for school,
Yeah.
got the
Yeah, I
degrees,
did.
the time invested to say
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm jumping out the window and
Yeah.
doing something that I wanna do. Like I feel like this is right.
Yeah.
And sometimes again, we like you said, are you involved with your family? Are you close with your family? Like, okay.
They just don't live here.
Okay.
So it's just my
Okay.
husband and I.
Okay.
Our family's
All
in Alabama.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And even from the outside looking in,
Mhm.
they're like, she's leaving to do what? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
But so you feel like you have a greater purpose. Where does that leave you with your current career?
Yeah. So to be honest, that's something I'm still working on. I don't know 100% where this is going to lead me, but I will say COVID changed a lot of things.
Okay.
And healthcare is not the same healthcare that it was when I first got
I hear
in.
people say that. What do you mean by that? Like it wasn't.
So it's a business, number
Right.
one, but I do find that some of the people that we work with just don't necessarily care how they should
About other people.
other people.
Okay.
It's also very difficult when we can't even get you the things that you need. Like patients can't afford certain things, but of
Yeah.
course insurance. Let's say they don't have insurance, because we get that a lot.
Yeah.
And there is no way for me to get you the help that you need. We have patients that need oxygen. They
And you
can't
don't
afford
have
it.
right.
They can't
right.
afford it. So, or they need certain, medicine or inhalers.
Just the resources alone
they can't
are not
afford
even
it.
available
They're not
anymore because
available.
of their yeah.
Yeah, and that's very
That's
hard.
sad.
That's very hard.
That is sad.
Very, very sad. And I
Yeah.
literally had a patient begging me, like, just please help me. Just please help me. And I went to the care coordinator to try to help that patient. Is literally my hands are tied. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to help that patient. And that's very hard
Yeah.
to stay in and not be able to. You're literally just watching people go left
Just
and
go,
right.
and there's nothing
and
that
nothing that you can do.
So was that at the point where you had that moment of you want to position yourself to live your life and do something to where you know you can make an impact? Was that pivotal moment, or what was the pivotal?
That is one of the moments, but I will tell you, what I'm really chasing is freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I see, my friends or other people who are able to stop at a drop of a hat and go be with their kids, I'm like, I want
Not
that.
have to be confined to a
Not-
schedule, not have to be
No.
confined to anybody else's
No.
dream. Yes.
No, and
Yes.
so like with me, if I wanted to, for instance, my son, he used to get sick all the time, daycare baby, daycare germs.
Oh, yes.
Listen, it was every month, every month,
every day. You got something else. You bringing it home. Like,
something.
no.
So the daycare's calling us. They calling me every single month. Hey, your son's got a fever. You got to pick him up. And I'm at work, and I don't
Right.
have anybody else to cover my shift at
Right.
that time. So
Right.
my back is to the wall. So, my husband, thankfully, who works from home, is like, I'll go and get him. But that can still be difficult because he is still working at the end of the day. He's in meetings, throughout the day, stuff like that. So
Right.
and this is a shared responsibility. So I started feeling bad. Like, man, I can't even leave to go and take care of my son because I'm stuck at work. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I have got to figure out how to get that freedom. Because that's the real rich. You know what I mean? Yes. Just being able to be with your family when you want to. That's what people are looking for. At least I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's the basis of a lot of people's peak at entrepreneurship until they get into it, and it's like, oh baby,
it's work.
It is work.
It's work.
It is definitely work. But I commend you for even taking that step, because you wouldn't realize how many moms would just stay because they don't feel like they have the outlet. Yeah. And now that you are transitioning into a space where you are the forefront and you are in the you're going to have eyes on you. Yeah. And you have a responsibility now. Yeah. You have a responsibility. Yeah. And you are going to be the example for some other little melanated young girl. Like, hey, she did it, I can do it. Yeah. So I commend you for having the courage to even do that.
Thank you. The good thing with healthcare, though, now I would never let my license go. Yeah. But the good thing with healthcare is I can do anything in healthcare. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I can always work a PRN job and just do a shift agency every four weeks if I wanted to. You know, so that's the beauty in that.
You just want to be able to have options.
I want options.
You just want to be able to have options.
And it's so hard now. My son is 3. But he literally will cry in the mornings. Mommy, I don't want you to go to work. Oh, my heart just breaks. My heart breaks, you know?
Like, okay, well, I'm staying here. Listen, I got you. I get it because I created the life of myself, too. That's why I love the heart. I'm going to stress it again. And she said it is work, but it is absolutely work because social media will position it as if it's easy. Everybody's getting it. You're going to have days where you're up and down. And this is why I even encourage moms, don't quit your job. Right. Like, it's okay to do both.
It is.
You can, especially with that man up in office now. We don't know which way anything goes.
We can't listen.
You can do both.
You can.
But just to have the option and the freedom to be able to decide to make your 9 to 5 an option. Right. That's the goal.
That is the goal.
That is the absolute goal. Sure. But y'all are in real estate too, so y'all get into the bag.
Listen, we trying.
Y'all get into the bag.
We have to.
He's the real estate
guru. Now I actually did get my real estate license here in Georgia. I do not use it.
Come on,
Listen, I feel like I can do anything and everything.
I know that's right.
So
Look, it's that black girl magic. That's black girl magic.
I don't use it, but we are out of state. Sorry, we are out of. Can't talk. We are out-of-state real estate investors. So we have a property in Alabama, and then we have a property in Ohio too, and then he also primarily flips in Ohio as well. Nice. And so he used to actually, one of the same things. He saw me doing this content creation, seeing the opportunities that it can bring, and he's like, no, I want something that I can help with and contribute as well. And so that is when he decided on real estate.
Right. So is he originally from Alabama or okay?
We both are.
All right. What's the biggest difference you see between here and Bama?
In terms of
everything.
Bama is behind.
So because ATL is a place to be for entrepreneurship. Like it's so much opportunity here. Yeah. And I've been to Alabama a few times. Now I've been for basketball. My son played basketball, so they have tournaments out there. Yeah. But that's not on my list of places. I want to go visit Alabama.
No, just stay here. Don't even waste your time. Everybody, I feel like people in Alabama are so behind. Okay. And like what I mean by that is just in their way of thinking. They are so behind. And there's still a lot of racist people out there. And there's not a lot of opportunities. You don't see a lot of Black people thriving in Alabama like you do here. Yeah. When we moved here, we actually lived in Kansas City for a little bit too. Okay. So I was like, babe, we have to go. Like, I don't like it up here. So we moved, and I said, we have to move back to the South, but it can't be Alabama.
It can't be Alabama.
Can't be Alabama. No. Like, no. And so it was actually between here and Dallas. Okay. We were so close.
Texas is cool.
Texas is cool. We were so close to moving to Dallas. Like, we went and looked at homes, everything. Yeah. And he ended up getting a call saying that he got a job offer here in Atlanta. Oh, nice. And we, of course, packed our bags up, and here we are in Atlanta.
But being as though you guys are from Alabama, is there any plan or do you feel obligated to build it up there, bring more resources there, because if you got family, friends, people you know, like, because y'all in the real estate now, y'all could buy the block. Y'all could bring stuff there. Is there any plan to do that, starting programs there to try to bring them up to speed? Because that's home, right?
That is home.
She like, no.
But I don't have any plans.
No attachment to
no
them, huh?
attachment.
Okay.
You know, God forbid, unless my family parents get sick or something, or
Mm-hmm.
my in-laws get sick and we have to go back. I have
No, not go back.
Oh,
but
just to kind of help
pour
develop
into
and
it.
help
Yeah,
to
develop
help pour
it. Pour
into.
into it.
I really don't.
Okay.
No.
She like, nope.
I don't.
Not at all.
You
Not at all.
it's just one of those things like you need to go visit and then you'll see.
Okay. Because I know, I've been to the basketball arenas. I haven't been, like, I'm not familiar with it at all.
It's so many different activities that you can do, so many different eateries, like just different things. And at least where I'm from, so I'm from Montgomery, there are people getting shot up left and right.
Ooh,
like
okay.
It is so bad. We call it Montgomery sometimes. Like
nope,
it's
not at all.
I just want to stay away from it. I don't want to expose my child to that.
I know that's right.
Most of the school systems there are on the failed list, failing schools list. It's just they don't really pour into the youth there, and so these are the ones that are going to be growing up and living in the city. So
yeah. And unfortunately, that's for a lot of urban communities.
Yeah.
Even here in Georgia.
Yeah.
Even here in Georgia. And although I am from Philadelphia, I have ties to, shout out to Philly, shout out to the Eagles.
Okay.
Okay. You know, let's put it out there. But even here is like, we want to do something. Yeah. We want to help save something, and we have children. Our children have to grow up with this society. Yeah. So how can we make an impact, or what legacy do you want to leave as far as knowing I helped, I did my part for not only just my child, but for my community, for my people? Like, what legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want people to think of you when they think of Miss Terrica Rumph?
Well, honestly, I really am just a positive person at heart, and I'm really just a natural helper. Okay. So I really want people to just know and say, this person poured into me this kind of way, and she not only displayed that within herself, but she raised her son and future children to be the same way. Yeah. And I just really want that to shine.
Nice.
And even in the content creation space, like, people come to me and ask me questions all the time, and I don't mind helping. I'm going to share with you what
as much as you know.
Yeah, as much as I know.
Because that's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's
about. And
this
is my community, so I definitely don't mind. Yeah. But I do the same, and I'm an encourager too. Okay. So I am going to push you. Like, listen, people come to me and say, oh, how did you get your doctorate? I got my doctorate at 27. So people are like,
hold up, say that again.
I got my doctorate when I was 27 years old. Yes.
Yes. Come on.
So I'm very I've always been ambitious, but people come to me, how can I get there? How can I get my doctorate at this age? And I'm telling you the school, I'm telling you the program, I'm going to help you.
But part of the reason is because we have a stipulation that we're not approachable. Yeah. Right? Black women are not approachable. Right. And we don't know, or the experiences, I know, at least for me as well, like when I do approach someone to ask, when I was in that stage, when I was in that season, it was always attitude or fluff,
Listen.
It was always, so of course, people are going to be hesitant, and we need to normalize wanting to help and wanting to serve, because first of all, that's what God wants us to do. Right. But we have a stipulation around us. So, but even as Black moms, so what are some unspoken truths that you wish the world knew more about Black moms, or being a Black mom? What is the unspoken truth that you wish that the world knew about?
I would say, we truly are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. And people say this, sometimes, oh, you're a strong Black woman. But we know how to get through just about anything. Anything. And we're going to do that with our faith walk, and we're going to find the resources that we need to get through it. Right. And I love that about Black women. Yes.
Emphasis on the strong.
Yes.
Emphasis on the strong when we don't want to be strong.
When we don't want to. We're going to make it happen.
We didn't have an option.
Yeah. We didn't. Yeah.
Don't have an option. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're married, single.
Yep.
We all have the same. It's like we lived and we were raised together because we all go through the same thing.
It's like, do we have the
And
same mama?
right.
Like,
And I don't understand or I don't get it when people say, because even I got it when I was married a lot. Like, and I'm not sure if you get it. Well, you have a husband, it's easier.
what does that mean? What does that mean?
What's easier?
Yeah, it's not. No.
It was easy for you to build your business because you had the extra support.
Right.
No.
Right. No.
Like, and I wish we could eliminate that space. And what that does, it shows the insecurity and reflection on ourselves when we have to, you know what I'm saying? When we have to pick apart that it was easy for you.
Yeah.
It shows your lack of self-worth, and I want to change that.
Right.
You know, open the conversation more on around that as Black women and as Black moms because we are strong.
We are.
And we didn't choose this life. We did not choose to be strong.
We have to be strong.
We have to be strong.
Yeah, for our kids, for ourselves, for
Absolutely.
everybody that's in our lives. Like, we have to be strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What is one mistake that you had to learn, like the biggest mistake that you made so far, whether it's in motherhood or business or, but just as a Black woman that you had to learn quick?
That is a great question. I would say one, and this is going into my spouse, because my spouse is so supportive and really loves everything. One mistake that I made was not really accounting for his feelings when we first had our child. Everyone is always so focused on the mom.
Right.
And which rightfully so, but the dad goes through things as well.
Yeah.
And, dads can go through postpartum depression as well.
This episode of the Mompreneur Huddle is brought to you by Liche Capri, designer bags for the designer mom. Make sure you check them out at www.lichecapri.com. All of the links will be in the description section. Really?
Yeah.
I know, but is it called? It's
not called. I mean, it's not called that, but they essentially go through the same thing. Very similar.
Okay.
And that was one of the things. I mean, I really felt so bad. And now I look back and I'm like, man, I really should have paid more attention to how he felt during that time. But like I mentioned, my son was breastfed, so my husband did not feel like he got that bond with my son.
Well, I don't think that men ever really do feel like they get that bond because we become mothers the first time we know we're pregnant because they're growing.
Right. They're growing.
Right.
Right.
So it's a different type of connection.
Yeah.
But like on their defense, like they get ignored for everything. Fathers get ignored throughout the entire pregnancy.
Yeah.
The baby shower is about mom and baby.
Yeah.
The wedding is about mom. Like it's because we have this expectancy of them not to feel because they are supposed to be, the heads and the leaders and stuff. But I love that you mentioned that the biggest mistake was I wasn't aware of that. And that is why a lot of marriages fail. That is why a lot of relationships don't work out because we're not aware of each other's feelings. So I love that you mentioned that. Yeah. You got a good one on your hands,
Thank
hubby.
you.
Watching?
You hear her?
Got a good one. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That is what's up. So, any plans for any more kids?
I do.
Nice,
I do want more kids.
Nice.
But you know what? I'm traumatized. I am traumatized. So
from the
postpartum, not postpartum things that I went through.
Okay.
I had a 3rd-degree tear.
Okay.
And with a 3-pound baby.
Explain the 3rd-degree. I've never had a tear, but I've heard the tears. Explain the healing process with the tear because it don't never really heal, right?
Oh my gosh.
Or is like
it. So you do heal, but it took me a very long time, almost a full 2 years for me to heal.
But is it true? Okay, we got the nurse practitioner here today, so I gotta ask some questions with the tear. So what I mean by never really heal, true or false? They can always rip again or tear.
You can tear again. Yeah, you can tear.
So that's what I mean by when it's.
And I did because I ended up falling down our stairs.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
I fell down our stairs and then just started. It was a whole nother thing. I had to go in and get
the
checked
pain.
out.
Wow.
It was so bad. It was so bad. But I bought a little donut because I couldn't sit down.
Yeah.
It hurt so bad to even sit.
Look, that donut come in handy. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I had it for like three months of my pregnancy. Just because. Go ahead.
That donut is a lifesaver.
Yes.
So get y'all a donut, okay? Yes. Get y'all a donut.
Well, get y'all a donut that she gonna be promoting with her next pregnancy for her brand deal on her new platform for the content.
Yeah.
Look, we gotta plug it.
Okay,
we gotta plug it.
Plug.
Yes.
So that was very, very rough. I ended up having a flap that grew and had to get cut out. And so anyway, I'm just traumatized. And I didn't even mention when my son got home from NICU, he also had an apnea monitor because he would stop breathing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that thing was going off left and right through the middle of the night. We would run in and it was just a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we're carrying this big tank with us or
now
device.
I can see why you say you're traumatized. You were traumatized. I know because it is very hard to see a newborn baby. This newborn baby you just bought in this world and you feel like, is he gonna be okay? Is something wrong? Like what happened? I was the same way with my first son. We I got him home. He was 2 days old. And I woke up and I found him shaking in his crib.
Oh my gosh.
And he was sleeping. I'm like, why is he shaking?
Right.
He was having a seizure. So I rushed him back to Children's Hospital. We were in Philadelphia. Rushed him back to Children's Hospital and then come to find out it was a calcium level, all this other medical jargon or whatever that wasn't developed, and they had to do a steroid something. But then we ended up staying in the hospital for 10 days.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember telling them, I'm not leaving this hospital. My husband was like, you got to go home and get dressed. I said, no, bring my clothes. The hospital accommodated. They had a room for her.
Like an extra family.
Like an extra family, yes.
Yeah.
But when I tell you that was the scariest moment, and I was a new mom, scariest moment in my life. So I can understand the level of trauma you felt.
Yes.
Because it's like I don't care if it was a splinter, I was crying for my baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like that connection. It's like what? Like
and you know, being in healthcare is a blessing and a curse because in healthcare I also know too much. So I used to work in a pediatric ER, so I did it as a travel assignment.
Okay.
And so I saw all of the different accidents that these little kids came in with. And so my anxiety level is like up here.
You strong.
You know what I mean?
You strong.
I have to like reel it in sometimes because I get at my husband. I'm like, no, this could happen. This could happen. Like, we need to be careful. And it is a lot.
So how do you even deal with that? Like now, because I know like the knowledge never go away.
Yeah.
And of course you want to be cautious of everything, but I can't imagine knowing like, well, first of all, I think I know everything when it comes to the medical field because Google be telling me.
Google's your doctor?
Google be telling me. I'm like, babe, I'm dying.
Oh my
like,
God.
girl, if you don't go somewhere, sit down, you are okay.
Please.
But just knowing having a background or the background in medicine or in healthcare, you do know, and you do know what can happen and the possibilities. Almost like working as a 911 call operator.
Yes.
The calls you hear every day, or when I was working with children in social work, and you see these kids every day, and you hear about the stories of them being raped in the adoption homes, and so you know what's out there. It's like, how do you deal with that to keep your anxiety levels low?
So prayer.
Yeah.
I really have to pray. Number one, I'm huge in faith and in religion.
Nice.
I believe in Jesus.
Nice.
And, you know, I really just have to help him, or he has to help me have that calming spirit. And honestly, therapy. And I feel like that's something that's not talked about enough in the Black community as well. It's like taboo, right? Like, oh, you don't need no therapist. God's going to figure it out. God's going to work it out. But God put people on this earth to also help you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Speak,
so that
girl,
is a resource.
Speak, girl,
so,
speak.
you know, I think that's the main thing that I have to do in order to just keep my anxiety. I have to take a chill pill. I call that my chill pill.
Yes,
Prayer and therapy.
Yes. I love it. What's something that you're still learning to give yourself grace for?
Just, let's see. Let me think. I think I am still learning to give myself grace for not having it all together in the sense of motherhood. Nobody has it all together, right?
Absolutely
But
not.
I've always grown up a perfectionist.
Okay.
And if I don't do things correct or right, then I'm so hard on myself. Motherhood, there's no manual for it. And so I was going to be the mom who my child not going to watch this iPad, okay? But now, I'm serious.
You always have it in your mind one way of I'm gonna be this way when I have my baby. It's gonna be perfect. It's funny you have this vision of how your life gonna be, but God be like, nah, girl,
no,
that ain't what I want.
Yeah, so I just
sit you right down.
Yeah, I just have to, I still give myself grace because at this point I need to cook dinner.
Absolutely.
So you got to be entertained some kind of way. So just little things like that I've noticed in motherhood, and just not having it all figured out, and I feel like that's okay.
Okay,
So
it's interesting, or it shows growth, or it just shows some insight about you. I know you said you are a perfectionist. Now, to get your content and to step into content creation, how do you fight the urge of that? I just got to go and get it out there and not redoing it because some people try to be so perfect when they're putting their content out or when they're doing something, they're executing something that they end up not doing it at all. But you're actually executing it, and I know that got to be a battle because you're a perfectionist.
It is.
So what's your process of getting it out there? Do you have a schedule? Do you stay on schedule? Like, are you all over the place with it? Like, what does that process look like?
I am all over the place. I am all over the place. So I'm actually just now, and I just made a post about this as well, about how I'm really, it's on Threads, about how I'm really
I love Threads. Shout out to Threads.
I do too. I love Threads.
Girl, I love Threads.
Is good, okay? But I just made a post on there about how I'm really working on letting that perfectionism go. Maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I just made this post.
It don't exist.
And so just showing up, regardless of what things look like. Now, this is my second full year, I think going into third year of content creation.
Okay.
And I'm just now getting to where I can just post without worrying about it being a mistake.
Nice.
I have had times in the past when I first started, where, this is a little, the wording on this is not straight. So I deleted the whole thing, scrapped it, started all the way over. I have had multiple times where I've recorded the same thing because I did not get it right. So that's something that I have struggled with a lot. Yeah. And I feel like you also have to know your platforms, right? So Instagram, I do feel like is a little bit more polished in this sense, in a certain sense,
Like you have to show up in a certain light on Instagram. Like you can't, Instagram is like what the Target and
Walmart.
Instagram is like Walmart. Really?
Instagram is like Target.
Yeah, that's what I said. Instagram is like Target.
Yes.
And I was trying to reference something to Walmart.
Facebook,
Walmart. Facebook, no.
Wait a minute.
We're not gonna do Facebook like that.
Snapchat. Okay, I don't know.
Snapchat.
I don't know.
Snapchat.
What did you say, Snapchat? I don't know.
Facebook is like the Publix, I think.
Well, I don't. Oh, wait a minute.
How we get into references in social media? But go ahead, though. I get you. I'm joking.
I don't know, but
I got you.
But yeah, I feel like knowing your platform. So I initially felt like, okay, I have to have this right because Instagram is more polished. This is what your feeds got to be nice, and when you go to somebody else's page, it does look nice. When they have a nice feed, you're like, oh, this looks good.
It attracts
it attracts you to it. So I felt like I had to have that in a sense, but now I'm like,
So you don't compare yourself a lot?
I used to.
Okay.
I used to. This is things that I have worked on and matured in because I definitely used to. But comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yes.
And I started getting to where I never felt good enough. Even now, like, it's so crazy. I have people. I don't have a million followers. I don't have a lot compared to other content creators.
And you don't need that to have influence.
You definitely don't. But that's what I was gonna say is that people literally inbox me and write me. Was like, "Hey, keep doing this. I love that you did this. This helped me. I can relate to this so much." And that's how I know I am in my purpose and I'm doing it right.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. How do you and your husband stay in alignment with you guys as a married couple? Like, how do you find? Or what do you do? Because he does the real estate. Y'all doing content creation. And I know firsthand how distracting getting the bag can be, especially when y'all on that same mission. And then it becomes about business to the point where sometimes we're talking about business in the bedroom and it's natural.
Yeah.
So how do you guys, or what's your advice to a woman in that's in a marriage or a relationship that have kids and that's busy and that's transitioning into entrepreneurship? What's your advice to not let her real life or her and her spouse to stay in alignment with one another?
Well, I definitely feel like you have to have boundaries. And with that, we have set rules before. No phones at the table. We're gonna sit and we are gonna
Do y'all
talk to each
stick to
other.
that rule though?
We sometimes we don't. Now, just being transparent because life, right?
Yeah.
You have a child and you just have all these other stuff going on, or he might have a meeting. I do Bible studies during the week, so sometimes we don't. But that is definitely something that we have done for a while, and we try to stick to, and even in the bed, like he was like, okay, no phones in the bed. Like when we're in the bed, we talk to each other because that's our only time that we get with one another, really.
Right.
I work 12 hours out of the day. We have extruricurcular activities for our son. So sometimes our only time together is after our son goes down,
And then that's only like 5 minutes because, baby, my eyes be
tired.
closed.
Listen, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to sleep.
It's like she done fell asleep with the light on. I'm like,
yeah.
Because it gets that way.
It does.
It gets that way. And that's why it puts a strain on not just marital relationships, but relationships, period.
Yeah.
Like you start to isolate yourself, not intentionally, but you start to go on your lonesome days. And sometimes you just want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And date nights.
And date nights is a priority. Nice.
Gotta have the date nights.
So what would you recommend? How many date nights a month?
So we try to do one every 2 weeks, so at least twice a month.
Nice.
Just to get out. And
I saw the something on Instagram. It was called the 222 rule.
I did see that.
You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that before.
Okay, I was like, I like that method. If I was to ever get married again, I'm like, babe, we are doing the 222 rule. He gonna be like, what is that?
Yeah, I saw that. I do like it, but I feel like that's so important because that's your time to really connect with your spouse again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not only with your spouse, with your child.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
really making that time for him to show up and be that mom. You know what I mean? Even if it is, my daughter enjoys coming here with me and watching the camera, like she doing something and telling me what to do. But even like times like that, like teaching them the business or going to get ice cream, is like just making the time for that. Like it is absolutely a must.
It's necessary.
A must.
Yeah.
So what is on the list next for you? Brand deals? Any brand deals?
Definitely, I would love to create, more brand deals.
Yes.
Really, really cater to my YouTube. I really want to get that back and running like I had it last year.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't know. I was even thinking about other entrepreneurial ventures, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm still trying to just figure it out. I also don't want to overload my plate, and feeling like I just have to do all of these things because, again, the goal is just to find that freedom.
Yes.
And that's really what I'm chasing.
Nice. So can you say you feel fulfilled right now in this stage where you are in this season?
Yeah, I feel like everything feels good. Everything feels right.
Okay.
And it feels like, I'm not 100% where I want to be,
right,
but I feel like I'm headed in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like to go back into young Terrica.
Okay.
Can we travel back into young
Terrica?
Let's go back. Because what I find, and you know this, everybody has a story, right? Everybody has to overcome some things. What is one of the hardest things before motherhood, before being a wife, before being a nurse practitioner? What is one of the hardest things you felt like you had to heal from your childhood in order to even make the transition into the woman you are today?
Man, wow. I would say, so I did not grow up in a 2-parent household.
Okay.
My parents got divorced when I was young. And, there were a lot of times where I remember, or I can recall, a lot of arguing. And I feel like that was embedded in me.
Really?
So much so I was an angry person. I was like
Really?
You would never be able to
I
tell.
can't. I'm about
You
to
would
say, wait a
never-
minute, because the vibes is vibing.
You would never be able to tell.
Wow.
I'm like getting teary-eyed. But
Wow.
I've grown so much. I
Wow.
was very fly at the mouth. I would go off on you like no problem.
Yo, I'm shocked. Like she is just like a ball of sunshine right now.
God
I
has been at
can't see you in that light.
I
And
have.
So your growth is real.
Mhm.
It is real.
It is.
So what was that? I know you said you are a supporter of therapy. Did therapy play a big part in that?
I think that played a big part. And then also just having like my brother, one of my oldest brother would always tell me like, he would joke and say, you would go and just fight anybody. Like, but just having that realization that, okay, people are saying this about you. Or my friends would joke and say, well, now Terrica going to get mad about X, Y, and Z.
But that underlying truth, even though they're saying it as a joke, the underlying truth is like, I don't want you to think that way about me.
Right. So I said, you know what? I had to take accountability. Yeah. So obviously, I need to fix myself.
I like that.
And this is not, I can't continue acting this way. And even with marriage, like I was so quick to just, sometimes carry an argument on. My husband's complete opposite. He's gonna want to sit there. He's gonna talk about
cool
it.
And collected.
Yeah, very calm. And I go from 0 to 100 really, really quick.
So, but what was the intervention though? Because I know if that's all sometimes, and I know you said people would see you as this way, and you don't want to be known for that. But what was the intervention? What was that one thing that happened that made you say, okay, I gotta make a change? Because there's some people who never have that realization because nothing ever happened for them to see it.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
What was that one thing that made you say, okay, I want to change. I don't want to be this way.
So there was this man at Walmart. I was with my brother, my oldest brother. And we were checking out in the line, and he literally said something to me. He called me out of my name, and he was older.
Back in Alabama?
Back in Alabama. Okay. Back in Alabama. And I went off. I was so embarrassed, though. I left that store.
You didn't go to jail, did you?
I did not go to jail.
Okay.
But it could have gotten to that point because people are crazy. So what if this man would have put his hands on me? And what if he would have did something like that? Could have turned into a whole nother thing.
Absolutely.
And what if he would have had a gun in his pocket?
Right.
I don't know,
Right.
But I just really left that store so embarrassed. And my brother had to talk to me like, Terrica, you cannot go and act like that. You cannot go and do that. You don't know if that man had something. You don't know how crazy he is or if he's crazy. You don't know.
Right.
And that was a pivotal moment for me because I was like, all right, Terrica, you got to get it together because you're doing too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's good. How old were you?
Oh, I was young. I was like, I had to have been maybe 15, 16.
And how old was your brother? Because he sound wise.
My brother, he's very wise.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, he's so wise.
Are y'all close in age?
He's 7 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes a difference because as I'm picturing it, you're saying my brother said you cannot act like this. I'm thinking maybe a year or two. I'm like, so, well, how old was y'all? Because he's got a lot of wisdom.
Wise. Yeah, and I have a younger brother who is 3. I'm 3 years older than him.
Okay.
But yeah, this particular brother that I was with, he's 7 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very cool, calm. He's like, he studies people and he's really, really good in relationships.
Nice.
And so he had to let me know.
Well, I'm glad I didn't meet the pop-off Terrica.
No, we not a pop-off anymore. Nobody knows that Terrica. Yeah,
okay.
Nobody knows that Terrica anymore. Except for, if you grew up with me. But all of the people that I've met, I'm sure when they listen or watch this, they're going to be shocked.
They're like, no,
they're going to be like, wait a minute.
But that just shows that growth is very possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And change is inevitable. Mm-hmm. And if you want to change for the better or if you want to change for the worse, it's all up to you. Mm-hmm. It is all up to you. And I'm happy for you when it comes to that sense.
Thank you.
So in knowing that that you were that pop-off queen. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call you Pop-Off
Queen. Okay.
Pop-Off Queen. To now in motherhood, how do you think is going to help you transition when you're faced with your son's personality? Because as you get older, as kids grow, they develop their own personalities. Because I'm sure your mother was not like when you were born, my baby gonna be this off at the mouth, pop off the.
Mm-mm.
So now that you understand that, do you think you're better equipped to deal with it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And even now, like, because in motherhood now, there are days where you just want to crash out, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're just frustrated.
Every day. What you mean?
You
Look, we
frustrated.
had a whole conversation before we was taping, y'all, and I told her I am tired.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
So, but it will better equip me because I'm going to know how to handle that. And so even now dealing with my son, it takes a lot to get me there,
Really?
where I'm just like, okay, I can't deal with this
Wait till you
anymore.
have the next one.
Oh gosh, don't tell me that. Don't tell
No,
me that.
I'm just joking.
But yeah, I respond to him for the most part pretty calmly. Like, okay,
Good,
tell me.
good.
And it's so cool because he is able to say, you know what, I'm not happy today. I'm sad. And then I'll say, well, what are you sad about? Or he'll say, I'm upset. And it is something that we did, or somebody at school did to make him upset. And we
Yeah.
talk about it.
I love it now because kids, like the kids nowadays, they don't know how lucky they are to have parents like us because we give that space for them to express their feelings, right? We give that space. And my kids, like I'm still half and half. I'm still that parent that do as I say or no kids at the table. But I also have the balance to where, okay, tell me what's going on because I don't want to raise kids that's not able to communicate their feelings
Or scared.
or scared
to tell you,
right, right. So, but the kids nowadays, I love that a lot of parents are on to this safe space, open conversation, but balance it so you can't disrespect me.
Right. Because I'm not your friend.
I will listen to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I love that.
Yeah.
But Miss Terrica, I'm doing something. You are the first person that I'm doing this with. in the Huddle.
Okay.
So, I'm trying out new segments.
Okay.
Right. So I have a new segment, and it's called Quick Fire Personal Touch.
Okay.
Now I'm going to ask a series of questions. Quick questions.
Okay.
You just answer. Okay.
Okay.
Just to see
Okay.
where your mind is at right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is a new segment, y'all. So if y'all like it, make sure y'all comment and let me know. If y'all don't, I'm gonna come up with a different segment. But I'm just trying some new things here. So, Miss Terrica, for quick fire. All right. Ready?
Yes.
All right. Your mom anthem right now.
Ooh. Can we skip? Oh, I gotta come back to that one. My mom anthem
Your
right
mom
now.
anthem. What's that one anthem you put on the car and it just feel like, yo, I'm the ish. Like I'm the
What's
mom.
the
Can't nobody tell me
music?
nothing.
I don't listen to music in the car.
Nothing. Oh.
We're gonna skip. We'll come back.
All right,
We'll come back to that.
Okay,
Let me think of that one.
All right. A business tool you swear by.
Canva.
Oh, yes. Not CapCut. I hear CapCut so much.
I love CapCut, but
Okay.
at this point, it's unpredictable. If TikTok goes away, then CapCut is going to go away.
But do you know Instagram started adapting some of CapCut's features?
They did. They're coming out with a new app. Edit.
A whole different app?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a separate app, but it's another feature.
They're editing features.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, with the CapCut. But I like the Canva though.
Canva is that girl.
Yes, Canva is that girl.
Yeah.
Canva, we need a sponsorship, Canva. I need a discount link.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm be hitting them up, okay? Favorite way to decompress?
Oh, my goodness. Massage.
Ooh.
Massage therapy. Like,
Yes,
I love that. It's just so serene.
Spa
It's
me,
just
please.
Spa me. Yes.
Spa me, please. Your current season in one word.
Growth. Growth.
Yes, because she ain't pop off no more.
Look, I ain't popping off no more. But not only that, I'm growing in all aspects. I'm growing in motherhood. I'm growing in my career. I'm growing in my thought process. We're growing in our marriage.
I love it.
We're growing in our businesses.
I love
so
it.
that's the season I'm in.
I love it.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yeah.
One thing you wish you knew before starting content creation and before motherhood.
One thing I wish I knew before starting content creation is honestly the amount of work it does require. Because, again, we've said it multiple times on this particular episode, it is a lot of work. And when you have, especially with all the different platforms, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and this learning how to edit, recording, actually propping that up and recording.
Yes.
And even just, meeting other people, coaches who can help guide you. Like it can be a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. The consistency alone to post.
Yeah.
But once you automate everything and get everything up, girl, it gets easier and easier.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. And just the consistency as a working mom because, I am tired most days. Working 12-hour shifts is not easy. And then have to come home, still be a wife, still be a mom. And then it's just like, okay, well, I also still need to pour into my platform. So,
part,
you know, it requires a lot of you.
Part. I get it. And I'm here with you. And however I could be of support, you let me know.
Thank you.
What's one thing you want to leave with our audience today? It can be motivation. It can be a song list, a recommended video, something that you want to leave with our audience today.
I would like to say, make sure that you never give up. I know that might be just cliche. Just keep going. If there's something we're related to your business, you will get there. If it's motherhood, it will get easier. You know, these are things that people have told you and you don't know because you're in the thick of it right now, but things will get better for you. Opportunities will come to you. And, you know, you will grow into the person that you have desired to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And I was going to close it out on that, but I meant to go back to rapid fire question number 1. What's your mama anthem? I need one. Even if it's a gospel one. Look, she thought I forgot. She going to say skip. I ain't go back. I said, let me close out the show. But I said, wait, we need a mama anthem.
Oh, mama anthem. What's something that I put on? This is so
she don't
hard.
even know, y'all.
I don't know. It's so
we
hard.
gonna give Terrica a mama anthem. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send you a playlist.
Send me a playlist. No, seriously, like when I ride in cars, I ride in silence.
Nice.
Because
so when you're getting ready in the morning, or when you're home, or when you're silent.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
That's
no,
weird.
No, I say yes. No, it ain't weird. I didn't mean
but
yes.
most people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna, turn up, whatever. But no, it's enough noise at my house.
I love it.
So that's my time to myself, get my thoughts together, pray, I talk out loud, and, that's just my time.
Yeah.
So, I don't.
Hey, and if that works for you, that works for you. Everybody ain't got to have no anthem.
Yeah. I mean, give me an anthem now. Send me the playlist.
We're gonna find her an anthem.
Yeah, find me an anthem.
And if y'all know an anthem that Mrs. Rumph can jam to, nothing too crazy, because we don't need to tap into the old Papa.
Because we can't go back to Papa Queen.
We save. We save. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with her. What's your tell everybody what your Instagram is.
So my Instagram name is Life with Terrica, and that's LIFE with WITH, Terrica, TERRICA. You can find me there and on all the platforms with the same handle.
Here we go. There we go, y'all. And thank y'all so much. Let us know how you enjoyed this episode. If y'all have any questions for Terrica, make sure y'all reach out to her. Make sure y'all not just reach out, not just follow and not just share, but actually engage, talk to her, get to know somebody, come out of your comfort zone and ask those questions. And I'm going to say that because I am living and acting on my own advice that I give y'all. Terrica, how did we meet?
Social media.
And who reached out to who?
You reached out to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in her DM.
Yeah.
So, but just look at the connection that we can make when we step out of our comfort zone. So don't just be behind the phones or behind the cameras admiring and wishing. Get out, reach out, connect, ask questions, because that's how communities are built, and that's how you get the help that you need. And if you are a mom struggling with that, reach out to me. Shoot me a DM. If you are a mom that's needing help with anything social media or content creation, reach out to Terrica. Yes, I'm volunteering her DM.
I will help. I will help. Reach out.
But other than that, y'all, I really enjoy what we do here, and I really enjoy and I appreciate all of you who've been liking and subscribing. Y'all, our channel is really growing. We are almost at 2,000 subs.
That's
and
awesome.
I just appreciate y'all in this YouTube space. So continue to share. If you are a mom who would like to come onto the Huddle, make sure you click the link in the descriptions and connect with me. Other than that, we are going to get out of here. I'm going to go get back to these babies. I'm going to let her go to her husband and her babies. I held her up enough. But y'all put your crowns on. Say it again.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. But y'all know how it is. Crowns on, chins up, and you rock your day. Have a good week.